All right. Factoring difference of two squares. We are going to take this a step or two further than we took it in Algebra 2. We're going to take this a step or two further than we took it in Algebra 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you to not write down. This says factor difference of two squares, if we can't read. All right, I'll ask you not to write this down. We're going to be doing a problem like this, x squared minus 25. And for just a minute, and this is not how we're doing it. This is not how we're doing it. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to say multiplies to be negative 25. There's no x's, so it adds to be 0. And let's see, that would be 5 and negative 5. Correct? And so then, if this is a 1, I can just jump to the answer of x plus 5, x minus 5. Right? That's how we do it if it's trying. Yeah. So we're not doing it that way. We're doing it the following way. When you have a square minus a square, let's do this. Up, please. Up. Unless you are physically not capable. No calculator, no finger, no Siri, no nothing. When I say it, you say it. 1 squared is, say it. If you said 1, remain standing. All right. 2 squared is, wait, say it. 4. If you said 4, remain standing. 3 squared is, say it.
9.
Okay, I'm going to go fast up till I get 9. What is that? 4 squared is?
16.
Remain standing if you said it right. 5 squared is?
25.
6 squared is?
36.
7 squared is?
49.
8 squared is?
64.
9 squared is?
81.
10 squared is?
100.
All right, I'm going to give you a small moment to think. 11 squared, wait for it. 11 squared is, say it.
121.
If you said 121, remain standing. Wait, 12 squared, wait for it. Say it.
144.
144. If you would get 144 eggs, what is the word you would say? It's not a dozen. It's not a dozen.
It's called dozen squared.
It's a dozen squared. It's a gross. How many know that? If you get a gross of eggs, 144. That's just fun. Oh, here we go. I'll wait. 13 squared. Wait. Say it.
169.
Whoever said 169, remain standing. 14 squared. Wait. Say it.
196.
You said 196, remain standing. All right. 15 squared, wait for it, 15 squared. Say it.
225.
Whoever said 225, remain standing. 16 squared, wait for it. Say it.
396, I don't know.
256, good job for this. Round of applause for the 4 that were still standing. The record in my classes is somebody could do like 63. Okay, all right. Wow. So those are some squares. By the way, there's a whole bunch more of them, like an infinite amount of them. In fact, I know I'm recording this, but I don't care. When I was in Algebra 2, my teacher was Rudy Canuti. Rudy has long since passed. And so we would always do the squares. And he would go, do the squares, 1 squared is 1. And my friend Chuck Ackman, hi Chuck, Chuck Ackman would say 2 squared is 4. And he had us even sitting in alphabetical order. Then it would be 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. We'd go around the room. It was alphabetical order, so being the H's, I usually had 12, 13, 14, so it wasn't too bad. Neil Ropke sat about right there, okay? Well, Neil would have like 23 or 24 squared, but depending on if kids were absent, you know, he might have 21 squared, so it got harder. So, true story, true story. We get up and it gets to Neil Ropey, he goes 23 squared, and he goes, Mr. Knutson, you always take the easy one. And he goes, shut up, and I will not. But he takes my friend Chuck and just hits him right in the shoulder. And Chuck goes, ooh, like that. Okay, I mean, he hit him, he hit him. Well, we found out anytime he would get mad, he would hit whoever he was sitting next to, or standing next to. So every time someone would get near Chuck, he'd go, somebody would go, this class is stupid, and he'd hit Chuck. It was so fun. So then we just all had fun. Every time he was near Chuck, somebody would like sass off a little bit. And then one time Chuck got hit, and he said, why do you keep hitting me? And he said, shut up and hit him again. Okay, that's a true story. I don't believe Chuck is happy with us to this day. Square minus a square is easy, but we're going to make it a little tougher today. It's easy. So if we are simply doing x squared minus 81, if you see it as a squared minus a squared, you simply need to put two parentheses, a plus and a minus, x and x, 9 and 9. Not necessarily much more difficult would be 4y squared minus 25. You have to ask the question, is it a square? Is it a minus? Is it a square? This thing we're teaching you only works in special cases. It only works in special cases. And in this special case, they are squares. One is plus, one is minus. You just put 2y, and 5, and 5. All right. We did that in Algebra 2. Say, yup. All right. I remembered it. Yep, with a few notes. Okay. All right, square minus squared. Now, taking it just a tad further, I'm going to go 2z squared. How about, in fact, I do 2z cubed minus 50z. This 2 is squared. 1 times 1 is? 2 times 2 is? Is 2 a square? No. So we can't do the fancy way, but always please attempt to do the distributive factoring, pulling out front. Is there a number that goes into both of these? There's a 2. Are there any common letters? One of the z's. There we go. 2 divided by 2 is 1. There were 3 z's, 1 went outside. There are 2 that stayed inside. 50 divided by 2 is 25. The z has come out front. The 2z, bring it along and forget about it, but you got to bring it along. And then we have a squared minus squared, z plus 5, z minus 5. All right. My recordings can't go over 15 minutes. They tell me then to trim out, I'd have to trim out the funny story. Hilarious story, true story. True story. Okay. This is not going to be a squared minus squared. I have to think for just a moment. Here we go. Sometimes, when you've got a square on each end, the factoring turns out to be somewhat easy. I'm not going to tell you any shortcuts on this. I don't think that's the best way to teach it. So this is not a square minus square. It's not what we're doing. So here's what I want us to do, the old way. I want to multiply. How about we all practice this? Multiply to be 100 and adds to be 20. All right? Hey, you know what? That's going to be pretty easy, isn't it? Multiply to be 100, add to be 20. 10 and 10. That wouldn't be too tough to get to. Going through the process again. Groups of 2. Let's see, it looks like a 2x comes in here, leaving an x plus 5. 2 times 2. Yep, and here it looks like a 5 comes out, leaving a, what did I do? Oh, I did something wrong. Say, I noticed you did something wrong, Mr. Oven. 4 divided by 2 is, that should be a 2x plus 5. Sorry about that. Those of you new, don't worry, there will be mistakes made. Right, Ari? Yeah, there'll be mistakes. 10 divided by 5 is 2, the x stayed in there. Cool. And in fact, this becomes 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5. In fact, when you see a square on one end, a square on the other end, and the middle turns out to be sort of the 4 times, if you sort of like take 2 times 5 and double it, there's a way. I don't think that's the best way. And is that the same as 2x plus 5 squared? Say yep. All right. Let's remember that. Let's remember that as we go to the other side of the board. I think this is real fun for the kids at home when we move. You know, they're thinking, whoa, something. See, I don't think I'm allowed to like do this because I can't show, because then you would be on. Did I get you?
A little bit, but no biggie.
Oh, okay. All right. I can record. Okay, you're okay with that? Okay. Because, one time I put like all the kids' pictures up on the board, from Schoology. Someone goes, "You can't do that. That's illegal." And I'm thinking, you can sort of just like look at the other kids in your class. I mean, it's like, okay. The direction is factor. 4x squared plus 20x plus 25 minus y squared. Whoa. You're saying, whoa. And when you've been seeing 4 things in the past, you think of grouping them. And if you think of grouping them, that doesn't look like grouping. But then you look here and say, hey, maybe if I deal with these first 3, this trinomial, and deal with this later. So, did we moments ago factor that? Moments ago, yep. So I'm going to save time and I'm going to write 2x plus 5 squared minus y squared. Hey, does that become a squared minus a squared? Say yep. So then we can go with a plus, with a minus, and we could go 2x plus 5 plus y, 2x plus 5 minus y. I'm going to stop recording.